Right. So, as you, for those of you who are faithful listeners or watchers of this podcast, you know that me and Shannon have both taken the J&J vaccine, right? I was always planning on taking it, but I will admit that Shannon taking it emboldened me to actually take it because she was someone around my demographic who I know personally who took it, and she was living, so it made me feel more confident taking the vaccine. And I had my vaccine this past Saturday, and what was that the what was that? I want to get the exact date.
That was the 11th,
The 10th.
10th.
Yeah, so I got my vaccine on the 10th, right? Around 2 o'clock, and I felt good. Went in, I was nervous leading up to it. This close to changing my mind too, by the way. The day of, and I was like, nah, I can't bitch out now. I gotta just go get this vaccine because I'd rather get the vaccine than get the COVID. You know what I'm saying? I can't be caught slipping this close to the end of this thing. So, get my vaccine. Felt good. Was looking out for the side effects. I did a bunch of research on the side effects too, just to prepare myself mentally about, okay, however bad you feel, just remember it's temporary. And I remember Shannon telling me her experience. She got the shot. She felt pretty good right before she went to bed. That's when she had the chills and the shaking and stuff. And then she woke up and she was fine, but then she had a headache. And then a couple hours after that, she was back to normal. Is that pretty much your experience?
Yeah. At the second day, I had a headache and I had body aches, but that only lasted like half the day.
Yeah. All right. So Shannon's testimony was fresh in my mind, right? So I get the shot, do my 15 minutes, to make sure I don't die. Then get up, go home. I'm feeling good, Shannon. I felt good. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm dodging this thing, right? I'm dodging. So I get home maybe like an hour later. Now here's the thing: they told me to take Tylenol as soon as I get home. He said don't even wait for the symptoms. He said start drinking a bunch of water and take the Tylenol. This way, if you are going to develop a fever, you have like the medication in your body already just to kind of help you make it less severe. Right. So I know I'm taking it. I felt pretty good. I treated myself to some unhealthy food. I'm like, what I'm saying? Like, I feel good, right? Right. I'm watching snowfall. And then right around 11 o'clock p.m., right? So I got the shot at 2, around 11 o'clock p.m. That's when I started feeling a little bit, stiff and achy, right?
Okay.
Okay. So, get into bed. An hour after that, immediately nonstop shaking.
Really?
I shook so bad. I've never shaken this much in my life. Right? And that's including that time in New York City where it was super cold and I got caught in the traffic a couple of years, like a year or two ago. I was shaking non-stop. Just shaking. And unlike Shannon, I had the chills, but I also had a fever at the same time.
Oh, you had a fever?
I had 100.3 fever.
Wow. Okay.
Right? So I'm shaking. I'm under the covers. My mom had me drinking so much water to stay hydrated. So I kept peeing. So I had to keep getting up to use the bathroom.
Get up. Oof.
Oh my God. It was bad. Because I had to, you know how when you like really sick and you have to focus on walking? It was one of those. I couldn't just walk. I had to focus on walking. Right. So I'm focused on walking. I'm peeing. I'm going back to, the bed under the covers. I'm shaking. I have a fever. I'm still taking my medicine. And Shannon, I didn't even know what was going on. Right? I was that hot where I was hot but cold at the same time. I had a headache, so I couldn't think, and it just seemed like time was going so slow. I was like, Shannon lied to me.
No, you got it way worse than I did. You got it way worse.
I said Shannon made it seem like it wasn't that bad. This is awful. This is.
The chills. When I had the chills, it was pretty bad. And it was pretty bad the next day too. But but you seem to. I never got a fever though, so you seem to have had it worse than I did.
This was so bad. Now, like you though, here's the thing though. When I woke up, I was kind of over the chills. So the chills were kind of gone. The fever has subsided. I remember because I was taking every time I got up to pee. On my way back to the room, I would take my temperature. I have like an external one.
Yeah.
And I would take my temperature to see And so when I woke up, my temperature was like at 98.7. And so my fever kind of went down. And I just had the headache for
Yeah.
like you did for a couple of hours. And then like around 3 or 4 o'clock, I noticed the headache was gone and my energy kind of went up and I was like back to, my normal self. And I don't want to get too happy because I read reports of some people feeling better and then getting hit with like a second wave of symptoms. But that didn't happen to me. I went to bed, woke up, and I had some sore, stuff going on, but I was kind of back to my, usual self. And I say all that to say, I felt good after that, right? I went through the experience. Then Tuesday comes, I wake up, I check my phone as I usually do, and I see Johnson & Johnson is trending on Twitter. So I'm like, oh, it must be people are so happy about the vaccine. I check J&J of the FDA and the CDC is suspending Johnson & Johnson vaccine pending, investigations because of blood clotting. Excuse me? The vaccine I just put in my body is now suspended. And here's the thing, the media you guys are just so messed up the way you guys report on things because they didn't report like the ratio.
Yeah.
So all I saw was Johnson & Johnson vaccine, blood clotting. I just got this thing.
The ratio is important because I didn't see that. I read a couple of articles and I was like, oh, shoot, I'm going to die. And then it took me like, first of all, I had to Google myself how many people have already been vaccinated with J&J. None of the articles I read said that. So out of 7 million people that have received Johnson & Johnson, only 6 people have gotten these blood clots. But they didn't, no article I read said that. I had to find that information on my own.
It was so irresponsible the way the media did the story because like you're just freaking out. You're like, wait a minute. What's going to happen? And unlike you kind of had some time goes by. So sure, you were like afraid when you first heard the news. But then once you start doing, your research, you kind of figure, okay, well, I'm kind of past this 3-week hump that there's some people to be on the lookout for, right? For me, I'm freaking out. I just got this thing, and you know me, I start freaking out. So I'm like, oh my God, maybe I'm still sick, right? Or then everything that's kind of wrong with you, you attribute it to the vaccine, right? Because I'm someone that naturally deals with, chronic pain in general, right? My family is a family that suffers from headaches. So we get like headaches. So yeah. So like, getting a headache like once every, 2 weeks, something that's normal for me. It doesn't last long, but but now that's like one of the symptoms. So I'm freaking out. I do my research and I figured, like you said, okay, well, it's 6 out of, 6.8 million people that have the J&J vaccine. That's literally like a 1 in a million chance that you get this blood clotting issue. Then on top of that, it's all chicks. Right? so now I'm like, oh, this is a woman thing, right? This is a woman problem. You know what I'm saying? So